Really enjoy some base building and survival crafting games here on the channel, but we also love ourselves a good share of World War II games, whether it be real-time strategy or maybe games a little similar to Commandos. Well, this is something a little different. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to our first look on the channel of a game by the name of Ground of Aces. And this is a brand new demo that you may have not seen before, as this one recently was on Steam for a demo, now has yet another one, a game that is a fight for survival. The British fighting the Germans in World War II, trying to basically build every single inch of airfield they can and try to build bases to prepare for invasion, the eventual Battle of Britain, and then eventually, of course, the invasion of France and many other territories and nations in order to liberate Europe, along with the Americans, Polish, Canadians, and everyone else, really. It's a really neat game. I think I love myself some survival base building, and I love World War II games, and this combines it for really the first time that I can think of, where we'll be building things in the style of Going Medieval, which you may have seen before on the channel. This is the Demo Summer 2024 edition, and you may have seen this previously here back in like March or April, and that's when they delivered their first alpha version. So this has been kickstarted all the way back in May and April of 2023 and has an eventual release after many extra content updates and early access release in January of next year, with the full release planned for April of 2026. So it's going to be a long time, but they certainly will jam-pack it with tons of missions and content and aircraft and more. And so it is time to take our first look then. If you'd like to see more of this, make sure you hit that like button. There you go. And subscribe. Boom, and then turn on that notification bell too so you can see more of this game and many others. Without further ado, let's take our first look at Ground of Aces. Let's go. So I guess it goes without saying that this is a free demo for everyone, and there'll probably be some more free demos slash playtests before their eventual release into early access. Right now, we're going to be building in Lichfield here in basically the center of England, and then eventually it looks like we can move on to Perranporth, but only after we've maybe completed this area. Now, the Germans' invasion of France is basically right around the corner, actually well underway, and in fact, I think they've already fallen by now. August 13th, 1940, I believe the British should be out of there, and the Germans should have already pushed and captured France in May, are capturing still more territories. Regardless, it is up to us then to basically maybe go out on a raid and bomb Berlin, or, maybe some other things. But first and foremost, we must prepare for an invasion of our own, as in our own nation. We'll start with no airplanes, no airstrips. Yeah, it's a dire situation. We're not prepared. The Blitz, very effective. So let's go ahead and get started. A beautiful loading screen right away of what I believe to be Spitfires. I've kind of forgotten, but those are some beautiful planes regardless. Also, it makes me want to go back and watch the wonderful Dunkirk again. So here's some tutorials on what we're going to be doing. Interestingly enough, we've been dropped off by the military to build an airbase here, but as you'd imagine, with the Blitzkrieg going on and with supplies basically dwindling because of the eventual fighting of the Germans and then the retreat, there's not really too much for us to use, so we have to kind of use whatever we can in the field, and that's kind of why this qualifies as a survival crafting game in a way, and then we'll be taking all of our talented staff and putting them to work here. So yes, this immediately reminds me of like Going Medieval with maybe a little bit of RimWorld and maybe like Bomber Crew. That's another great World War II game taking place, of course, kind of perpendicularly here, parallel with us, like as a bomber crew towards the end of the war, but yet still taking off from these wonderful RAF airfields. So at the end of a long little road, we have ourselves a potential area where we could build an airstrip and then call in aircraft in order to land and then be housed and refueled and for training exercises to go on. So we better do everything we need on the right side. First of all, at least we have a little bit of some comfort here. We have beds, but not enough for everybody, for our staff totaling, I don't even know. It's quite a few people here actually. And we do have an option to build all sorts of things, which will be tents for now out of canvas. And then we have ourselves the option to put things inside of them. So we have things for workbenches, and a lot of workbenches too. This game is ample with things that we can do. So we have ourselves a field kitchen or an indoor kitchen providing better food, sawing stations, brick stations, cement. We could do canning, electronics, tailoring, espionage. We have ourselves a water cooker, which could be for purifying water, and maybe for tea and other things like that, and a distillery too, which could be used for, I was going to say both drinks, aka strong goods, and also luxury goods and strong medicine. So a way to heal our people. A lot of different props here too. We have sirens and little tables and chairs and beds and things like that. let's go ahead and get started. Oh, also the runway, which needs to be plopped down in order to call in airplanes and basically finish off the task. I'd say we do that last, but prepare for it by cutting down trees to build more things at our camp. So let's begin then. So we should probably start by building this building over here. Looks like there's a little bit of a back end to it, but let's go ahead and rip up this stuff here, and I'm going to try to not make that a corner, but we're going to extend this little barracks just like the other one next to it, and we'll try to make a door at the front. Also, I'm going to try to enclose this one, so let's get rid of the little doors here. I wonder if that'll delete those. Yeah, and I want to make sure we don't delete that chair. I want to definitely keep these if we can, and see if we can move them around. No, I guess not. Yeah, so if you've ever played Going Medieval or seen it here on the channel, of course, that's a medieval castle building game where essentially you're doing a lot of the same things, starting with a small farm and then building homes and a central warehouse, and then eventually preparing to defend against invaders. And it is implied in this game that we can be attacked. There will be attempts to sabotage, although maybe not historically accurate. It's certainly something to be mindful of. Certainly don't want to destroy any of that then. Let's go ahead and cancel the destruction of that. And we'll see if we can move these chairs later on. But let's definitely... Oh, there we go. We have that wall under destruction there. I want to build a wall here so we can put more beds in there and then maybe expand it over this way. So let's prepare to build. Let's see how it works. So building here, we can build with a door. We also have, we have tarp options, planks, and bricks. So tarp is going to be the quickest, cheapest option, but provide the least amount of cover from the elements. Looks like we can also build a room if we want to. But in this case, I think we just want to build a straight-up wall to expand the building that's already here. We'll go like this. Perfect. And then we'll snip off that little end of it there if we can. I think that's good enough there. And let's go ahead and also add that corner. And then we'll start with a floor. Let's see if we can actually build a small floor starting there. We also want to finish the corner of the wall, so that's right here. Yeah, so I think maybe perhaps if it goes into depth like Going Medieval, there'll be food spoilage, and there'll also be things like insulation. So if we make a building really large but poorly ventilated, then there could be a lot of heat or a lot of cooling that we don't intentionally want. Go back here and just extend the wall a little bit further. We're going to just try to make this equal. Some blueprints here would be great. Obviously, if we're going to be building many different airfields, it would be great to copy some of the structures like you would in 2 Point Campus or 2 Point Hospital, where certain rooms are going to be the same no matter where you build them, and to be able to carry them over from world to world would be good. I think we're about done here. I think we've kind of got our design and our little plan prepared. Oh, it looks like it's trying to put the wall on the inside. So let's build that on the outside, maybe like this. There we go. A little tricky, but I think, yeah. Okay, now I got the rules. Now we got to throw a roof on this bad boy. Might not be able to do that until this whole structure is done, so let's see if we can actually put something up there for now. We cannot, but it will be something we can build eventually, and we'll put down the rest of the canvas floor here, and then we'll start putting some beds in there. Now I also want to delete the little door there, and I only want a door to be on one side towards the front, and then enclose the rest of it. So a little bit of work, a little bit of a tutorial here. Kind of learning how everything works. I do like how the building works, though, although it is a little picky with the building in the corners like that. Is that a... Oh, I thought that was a deer. We have a doggo here. Can't click on him, though. Can't pet the doggo? Boy, I hope we can do that. Okay, that should be good enough for now. I think we'll make some more changes based on what we see. Kind of hard to see each and every little nook and cranny like that, but we'll start with... Boy. Yeah, all right, so the building system is a little tricky, I think, to edit a building. But if we build a building from scratch, being able to click and drag like that's going to be an absolute savior. But I didn't want to delete and rebuild in interest of time. So, yeah. So you can kind of see all the things we can do and how limited things are. Okay, I think we'll put a door on it as well. We'll build a door right here towards the front. And we'll go ahead and plop down a few more sections. All right, that should be good. Let's go ahead and let everybody get to work. All right, get a hand in, people. Helmet's not a chair. You can see all the supplies that we've got, all these different types of tarp piles. We've got water, looks like raw water, which I would hope is maybe purified. We have sandbag piles and electronics. We've got metal. And we've also got food rations and some repair parts, too. And possibly some ways to rip some things up there. All right, let's go ahead and start our harvesting, too. We're going to indicate that we want to harvest some of this stuff. And they'll come over and do it whenever they can. Probably after the construction here is completed. And we'll also add some more beds to the place. Pretty cool, honestly, all the things that we can make. I'm quite impressed at the depth of the different workstations. that hopefully we can see a lot more of in the future. And can build some actual functioning hangars that do allow us to repair bombers and maybe build some more advanced things. How do we cancel something like that? Can't necessarily cancel this bed or right-click on it. I'm a little afraid to click destroy because it does seem to, yeah, also delete the panel underneath, which is a little obnoxious. But hopefully that's buffed out in the future. Now, this is important to kind of mess around with these building systems because they can always change and give us different options that we weren't necessarily intending, or find glitches or bugs or things that just aren't worth all the extra effort and could be simplified by the developers upon the completion of the game, which of course will be quite some time. Looks like we have ourselves a little latrine here, maybe? Is that what that is? Looks like it could be. And possibly, maybe we can get fertilizer from that, if you know what I mean. There might be a way to do that. Possibly. Now, I wonder also, as we're starting in 1940, if we get a little later in the war, like 1943, 1944, if we'll start with a lot more complicated, already pre-built airfields then that need additional runways built, and then, of course, additional quarters for our people. It almost will be like when you join in a game of, for example, Prison Architect, and then you go to enhance the prison that way and try to accommodate a new goal, like increased inmates or some sort of new type of inmate or something like that. Going from maximum to super ultra maximum, that type of thing. Okay, so we've got everybody moving over here. Going to put in that little bit of tarp that remains. Did we get the rest of the... Oh, yeah, we did. Okay. All the tarps are on the ground. That's good. Let's see if we can also maybe remove rocks. Maybe we'll be able to destroy them. Well, we could rip up those bushes there. I think our runway, if we're going to build it, probably should go this way to try to cut down as minimum amount of trees as we can. Not because we don't want to cut down trees, but because the less trees we have to cut down, the more open the area is. So if we go, let's say, north, that'll be pretty good for us. So let's clear a large area this way. We'll make sure we put it on harvest. And we'll make it nice and wide for the runway. Looks like there's some berry bushes there too. But you bet we'll need some wood then for some cabins and some flooring and possibly firewood in the future. It is August, remember, of 1940, so winter will be coming soon. And you can also see our base morale. So aircraft in the game. We have ourselves the Bristol Bulldog, the Hawker Hurricane. Looks like there was also Supermarine Spitfire. So I think those planes maybe earlier were the Hawker Hurricane, maybe? I can't remember now. But we have ourselves a lot of cool-looking fighters, and also the Avro Lancaster bomber all the way up to tier 6, which doesn't seem to be complete at the moment. So those will be all the planes that we can get for the time being. Maybe that's locked by year or by the early access roadmap or whatnot. Looks like folks are working from 8 to 20, and then from 21 to 22 they have leisure time, sleep, and then leisure time for another 2 hours. So they can wake up, maybe have a shower, grab some tea, whatever, get to work, and then wind down for the night. And that'll probably be a 7-day-a-week schedule, as the enemy probably won't sleep either. They're well underway, high on meth probably on their way deeper into France, as they've already done that. Oh yeah, true story. Much more true stories than that. What do we have here too? Sandbag piles, right? So that's for what looks to be exposed to sky, 20% faster degradation. Sandbags pile. I wonder if that's just a pile of bags that now we have to load with sand, and then eventually can maybe put sandbags around buildings, so if a bomb explosion happens, then they, and of course to hinder people's movement, so it'll make saboteurs a little harder to destroy a building. We now need a kitchen. We could build that here, and saw stations, so we could try to build a few of these things together and then move them later on. You can see one of the little wall panels there went goofy on me. I think this building system's fine, but it needs to be refined because, yeah, then we end up with weird scenarios like this that just kind of increase our time in building. There are some better ways to do this. I think the best way to do it is to just simply build your own room and not fiddle around with any of the, the modifications of a building. So let's see if that can get done. We'll throw some more beds in here, maybe. Actually, there's a few beds there, so we'll see if that's enough. I'm not sure our total count here. But we've got things like fuel and ammunition that we'll have to store, and then, of course, basic materials for the base. Fuel probably for the base, too, with generators and other things being important. We'll need more chairs. Looks like we have 4 here. I wonder if we need more for people to, like, sit and have a meal at? I don't know. Let's go ahead and start with our props. So this will be for cooking. We have ourselves Oh, wow, look at that. All right, yep. So we got wooden tables. That's probably something they want. Comfy chairs, pianos. That'll keep morale up. A dartboard as well. Looks like flagpoles and gravestones, too. Yeah, we might have perhaps pilots die or aircrew on their way back, so they might need to be buried. And we have ourselves a chair here, too. So let's start with a couple of chairs. Keep putting those down. And we'll hold shift to build multiple. Start with 3 of those, too, and then we'll see if these ones can be moved or something like that. Alright, so back to our field kitchen. That probably could be built outside, but we could also build inside, too, the indoor kitchen. But the outdoor one honestly looks more cool. And it won't take metal or planks, which we don't have enough of. So to feed our people first, the field kitchen probably would be the most important thing until we've upgraded. There we are. Okay, so then we have a tailor station too. We can make and repair clothing, herb dryer, distillery. But we could probably build a little herb dryer. We need to get more wood cut down though. So it might be a good idea to build the saw station as they mentioned. So maybe we could put that in a tent. Although those would probably be best for storage and sleeping. We also need to put a roof on this house too, don't we? Go ahead and do that with the tarp. As previously attempted there. And I think we did it. Cool. Alright, so both tents will have a roof. It looks like they've got doors and I hope walls. Some windows there too. We need to build a wall there. And that gets a little goofy. But should be good. Okay, so they should be fully enclosed and have a few windows for ventilation. Keep it cool in the summer and close those up and keep it warm in the fall and winter. And let's go ahead and try to do our next station, then that cutting station. So workbench, we have ourselves the saw station here, which does take 10 wood, but I wonder if we could build it as a blueprint beforehand. Let's see. A little hard to see here. Could put it outside too. Oh, it must be outside. Okay. We'll plop that down here. And we could build some things inside. Oh, we can't even build like a table and chairs inside. I don't know. I feel like the officers would always have like tables and chairs inside and then also maps and other things like that they're looking at. Bar counter. Wow, we can build a bar already. Jeez, we're getting down and dirty with it already. Looks like we can indicate whether a building is storage or also to expand an existing area too, so that's cool. We could try to store some things inside so they don't get wet and rained on. Prevent exposure. Let's go ahead and build a big area like that. Oh, I think the game actually skipped a little bit of nighttime, which was cool. So here on the radio, we can now radio headquarters, and we can request supplies, check our standing with HQ, recruit additional pilots or staff, and then go on some extra missions. But, oh, what's this guy's name? Over here on the right side. It was so-and-so is here, like Milton or something like that. Mildew, something like that. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you probably already know who that is. I remember that. We also have the village where we could trade with them. So I guess the nearby village, we could trade and check our standing with them, recruit people maybe for odd jobs, and then also statistics. Very cool. And then for our, actually that was indicated as crew. Yeah, for our crew, we've got all these people here for different types of jobs we could prioritize or turn up and down for their importance. So we could have somebody with very high medical skills like Thomas Walker here. If we take a look at him, we could see that perhaps he's very good at gardening, so we could make that guy our gardener or our herbalist trying to pluck herbs and things to make medicine. But yeah, so we can increase the priority of their job. So not everybody's going to be good at the same stuff, but sometimes everyone will have to do something like building or cutting down trees. So no matter their skills, we'll have to do it that way. There's our schedule we saw before, and of course the airplanes. And then we have ourselves the bubble toggle for whether or not something has an error message. So a lot of these things are probably indication of not enough material in supply, that kind of thing. Let's go ahead and continue to cut down trees. We could start with this forest here. And here. And all the mushrooms that are nearby as well. And we'll probably clip these off too. I want the whole area around the base to be pretty clean. There we go. And on the other side of the road, that's totally fine. Okay, so we're going to build the kitchen. We're going to build that saw station. We don't have a runway yet, but we're going to build that soon enough. We are building beds, and we have ordered some more chairs, and it looks like some of them either are being delivered or are still blueprinted. And our people, I think, what time of day is it? Might be on break. 7:30, with their shift starting at, I think it was 8. 8 is when work begins. And of course we can adjust this. Now I hope one thing we could do is adjust everybody's individual schedule too. So we could put people who maybe have more important jobs a little higher on the ranking of, being recruited a lot more. And then maybe allowing you to have some people rest if they need to, which is a much better plan. Oh, and there we go. More people now moving around, starting to deliver things for the side of that tent. Yep. And possibly building the chairs. Actually, it probably is that they have one of the materials needed. So 4 wood to build the chair, and then already a little bit of canvas or tarp that they need in order to make the chair itself. So cool. And we're also breaking down the large rock. So as you can imagine, it'll take a long time to build a base. And really, if you love aircraft in general and are knowledgeable about ATCs and military aircraft, this would be very cool to actually build a hangar, see aircraft coming in and trying to refuel, repair, and refit them as quickly as possible and send them back out on their next sortie and try to do that efficiently as possible. Now, I don't see anything like an ATC tower yet, but it would be cool if we could build larger, more permanent airfields that at least would be used throughout the war, for the next few years, and then some too, of course, towards the end of the war, still preparing for possibly the unexpected and or war with the Soviets and just national security in general. I mean, all that time and money invested, you may as well get something a little bit more out of it. So very good to prepare for that in the future. See what else we got here. So these are breakdowns of everything. I'd say the ones in red are probably more important. So yeah, people will need food and they'll need maybe fuel from the saw station. Perhaps that'll make firewood that could be used. And then, of course, the runway is going to have to be defined. We need to build a tier 1 runway. But it is cool to see everybody running back and forth with their supplies and getting things done. Let's speed it up a little bit. And they're building the roof now of that other tent. And hopefully start moving these supplies in from outside to inside the tent to where they can be protected from hazards. And it looks like they may have gone into the woods now. Probably seeing a bear and fleeing now. They're cutting down more trees, and I think bringing that over to build the kitchen and the saw station, which is good too. But I want to get things moved in. So let's go ahead and go back to our, not schedule, but our crew and see if we can get people on moving. So there's medicine, building, cooking, crafting, gardening, and labor. I'd assume labor is probably the one where they're going to be hauling things in. So looks like priority is to the right is the highest priority or left? Then, of course, we can also turn off something. Oh, and we can adjust priority for everybody? Can we drag for one? No. Well, right now, I think getting everything stored is probably our highest priority. I'm going to think that this is the highest priority with the bar, the largest, with more diminishing priority to the left. So we're going to build it, transport things first, build, craft things. I think cooking and medicine will be last. Oh, probably cooking first, then medicine. And hopefully we get a medic or something like that. Now, this also reminds me of another great game on the channel called Great War Hospital or World War I Hospital. Another very interesting game that was dark and gritty, looking a little bit like Banished and maybe Farthest Frontier, but had the whole objective of building hospitals and planning to take care of the wounded. Much different than this, but also kind of the same premise of trying to optimize and produce as much as you can in order to save as many people as possible. So pretty cool that that is a thing as well. More games. We need more games like this, I hope. Okay, so now we've got nighttime coming around again. We've got more people standing around for leisure time. And hopefully we have less with the, more chairs on the way. Storage here should be put inside, and they're working on that. And now they're just sleeping on the floor. So now we got to get some of those beds made. I think, how many people do we have on the floor still? I see 2, 3. Maybe 3 more beds would be good. Our staff numbers will grow, so we will prepare for that. I want to actually be able to move these little, nightstands here out of the way. I wish there was a way to move things. There must be a way to do that a little bit more easily. Expand, remove. Can't make that a sleeping quarters, though. It looks like just storage, expanding, and removing of storage. That's it. To which you could also make a storage area outside and then build around it, too. So all this stuff that was by the road, it's likely that we could have just clicked and dragged and made a room for that. So we can have all of our initial supplies and possibly supplies we get in the future from the government or the local village to basically be delivered there. We'll have like a delivery zone and then have people come over and pick that up when we get enough people. And how many crew was that again? 3, 6, 7, 8? Okay. Very nice. All right, leisure time before building everything. It will take a little bit of time to grind this one out for sure, but I think that's what's cool about each of these bases, is that especially at the beginning of the war, things are going to be very challenging, very slow. And then eventually as time goes on, we'll have access to more and better resources, which then could make for a much more complicated and complex number of crew members and people working at the base, which is more people to take care of. People are running away in panic. Oh, they saw a small spider. Oh, that's great. Hugh saw a spider and he is fleeing. And now he's coming back, I hope. I think this guy's also going out to the woods to be able to pick up stuff too. Oh, look at that. There is some elevation to the map too. So that's something we're definitely going to want to avoid for an airfield, as you'd imagine. You don't want that to be, you know, something that you have to build through. Let's see. Let's get back to the base. Actually, let's look around a little bit. I wonder if eventually we can put up some large fences and some security towers, you know, some watchtowers to make sure the base is safe with the checkpoint. It'd be really cool if not only did we have to worry about the staff in the base itself, but also keeping people out and or, you know, people who didn't need to be around here and or saboteurs, the Germans, of course. Maybe. Make it a lot more interesting with the game for sure. All right, we're on to the next things now. We need to move on to metalworks, chairs, and also parking spots for our aircraft, so we can do that. We do have a parking spot here. Oh, and that's going to take bricks and planks to do that. But let's see if we can add that right away. No, I would like to blueprint that out, so we're going to have to definitely find clay and start mining that up. And that's probably under where the trees are, or maybe where some of the darker grass is. But first things first, we should probably make the kitchen too. So let's go ahead and start making some meals. I think we should infinitely make meals. I think that's what that is. I think that's the infinite button, but I'm just going to make 50 just in case. We have no resources here, but we'll make meals first and then purified water later. We do have a little bit of water that was stored, right? Oh, quite a bit of water, actually. And that probably will go towards cooking as well. So we'll need to worry about that. And then sandbags, more stuff going into storage. Actually, storage maxed out. So let's expand that. Let's use that little tool that we had before. We can expand that area. I guess we'll go for the whole thing. So there's our sleeping quarters and our storage tent. And then the saw now hopefully makes enough planks for, and let's go ahead and make 50 planks as well. And whomever will work on that will then start putting that into storage. But more importantly, we'll start putting it for the beds and the chairs. So that'll be an important thing too. Now, when I play on my own and when I'm not showcasing videos, I would do things a lot differently. Here, we're just doing everything we can all at once in a mess to try to showcase and to find out what this game has to offer. But by now, I would have at least already had somebody sawing full time and some meals made up and tried not to play in any sort of fast speed, because I think a lot of this is not necessarily just waiting for everything to get done, but to queue everything up to where there's literally no seconds wasted between one action and another. Now, I don't like to always be that optimal, but it's a good idea, especially in a game like this when there could be time constraints for a pending German attack, where if our airfield is not ready, we're going to suffer the consequences. Maybe our airfield itself will be bombed, or perhaps a neighboring city, or, of course, the Germans will complete strategic objectives, which will hurt our chances of survival. Remember, by now the Germans have already started to tighten the noose. The Kriegsmarine are out in their Untersee boats, the U-boats, trying to hunt any and all British ships that are not only just like warships, but also merchant ships bringing in food from other countries nearby, and or, well, eventually, across the Atlantic with the Americans, and then trying to make the convoy system. And the hunt begins for the next few years with that. But then also, of course, trying to stop any sort of air transport as well, bringing in supplies from maybe perhaps France or refugees or other things like that as they try to flee the rest of the way. I mean, anything and all things are still targets at this point. So, but hopefully in the future of this game, we get more nature sounds and we hear people kind of going about their day too. That would be nice. We do have nobody here at this station. I wish we could actually get one person onto that. We could turn on and off different things. I don't know whose skills are what, though. I need to individually find out who's who. But maybe they're all skilled. Go ahead and click on anybody and see what their skills may be. Okay, so we have to do it this way and then just keep a mental note of what everybody's, I guess, skills are. But it looks like first they're stockpiling everything. I guess it makes sense. What is the problem here? Integrity or... Not sure exactly what that means. Maybe the food's going bad, but... there we go. Starting to make planks. Good. And that means all the rest of the chairs and the beds will get done. So not too much longer. So the goal at this point will be to absolutely clear an entire area of trees and then plop down that runway. But I'm not sure exactly how long the runway has to be. So let's go ahead and, I guess just for demonstration purposes, see what we got. Looks like we need to make it a certain width. It needs to be, oh, I see. That's very cool. All right, so the runway system, we can make things out of different materials, and then the length and the width of the airfield will determine what can land here. So we could do a Tier 1 aircraft with a 13-meter runway. So what kind of a plane are we going to get? It's likely that we could see maybe the Hurricanes. And, there's no information on that one as well. But yeah, too few parking spots and not enough to tell us about the aircraft. I think we should be able to at least know what we need to do. But let's go ahead and build at least a somewhat of a runway. Let's go ahead and make it as wide as the road. We're going to make it at least so Tier 2 aircraft can show up. It's either 1 or 3. So it needs to be at least 80 meters and at least 10 meters wide, it looks like. $12 meters wide, 80 meters, yep. And type is grass. We can also make it out of sand, concrete, tarmac, or steel tarmac, which actually was used a lot in World War II as well, especially in the Pacific Theater. A lot of runways using that for, I think, drainage. But tarmac could be the same thing too, but yeah, very cool. All right, let's go with that. They're going to have to clear a lot of area there. And just one tree. So we did a good job of clearing out that forest there, and then, I guess for realism, trying to get some of the trees away from the runway too. So they should be able to do that then. So it looks like a lot of these areas now need to be worked on. And rocks need to be moved. The rest of those logs need to be brought in. Better that these things at least are in storage for now. I wonder if there's a way we can improve the importance of this. Let's go ahead and make even more planks. Make 100 there. Oh, looks like we got some of the chairs done, some of the beds done. A couple more to go. And there they go. They're building the runway. Excellent. Then we'll see if we can plop down a parking spot. Looks like that needs to be made out of bricks or planks, but it looks like we can have a maybe a dirt one. I feel like if the runway could be dirt, I guess we can only build it there. Can't be built at the end, but it did look like it required bricks and also, yeah, wood. Now, I think there also are options for us to put lights down. I thought there was some things like that. It would be cool if lights and other safety precautions would make the aircraft perhaps less likely to crash on landing or somehow do things faster. Now, there you go. You got your security checkpoint here, too. And I don't see any fences at the moment, but it doesn't look like we might be able to build that yet. But I don't see anything stopping us in the future of this game. Adding a lot more stuff would be really cool. Always a good move. More stuff? Yes, please. Siren on a pole. I guess that's good for air raids and or to scramble. We'll build something like that. It'll, of course, need metal, but it's all good. Looks like we're making a lot more meals. Probably a good idea not to make too many meals. Meals are more than likely going to go bad and spoil faster than actual raw food. So as you'd imagine, if you had a bunch of cheese and a bunch of mushrooms and whatever else, probably going to go bad once it's cooked faster than if it's a wheel of cheese and mushrooms in a basket. But who knows? All right, can we bring a priority to destroy some of these things? I want to make sure we get some of these things out of the way. Kind of hard to land aircraft with those in the way. Could try to destroy, but I don't want to do that with the runway. Construction blocked. I feel like maybe when you lay down a runway like that, the game should automatically know that you want to clear those things. So I think those should be a priority. But regardless, we built ourselves a runway, just a few obstacles to remove. and a parking spot that just needs a few other things like brick, but everybody's starting to get some beds too and some chairs. Helmet's not a chair, gentlemen. Get a hand in. So it looks like the chairs are good for morning. Perhaps if we build a table in a mess hall, that would bring morale up a little bit. People would be able to socialize just before their shift. Good stuff. Oh, we got some more wooden chairs too. Look at that, mood and energy. Better to build those chairs than maybe the canvas ones. So maybe we'll put an outdoor table for now. Let's put a large wooden table down. And then hopefully we can move these things indoors. Oh, that's the wrong way there. Or flip them around. This should be a lot easier than it is right now. There should be some very easy settings to move things around. If there isn't already, there's got to be. Man, days go by quickly, though. Germans are prepping and plotting. Oh, they at least did build a few chairs already. Where's this sleeping? Oh, is there a bookshelf? Oh, cool. All right, let's put the chair the right way. Okay, that's annoying. If I change the direction of something and hold shift, it then changes the direction each time. So every time that we hit shift and click, we have to reorient the chair again, so that's a little annoying. But that's good enough for now. And I wonder how we're going to get these big old rocks out of the way. Or we have to avoid them, but kind of hard to do. Honestly, let's see. Terraforming, maybe? Ah, there you go. So it looks like we will be able to... Oh, look at that. You can actually lay down sand or sandbags. Oh, that's what the sandbags are for. Okay. Concrete, tarmac, and steel tarmac. So you could, if you wanted to, like put down a little bit of like tarmac and then put a guard tower on it or something for immersion. Or maybe it also makes the staff walk faster. You could maybe build some tarmac pathways between buildings and then also have your runway tarmac too, which accommodates better aircraft and other things like that. So pretty cool. I love the concept of this. I think this is really genius and have to toy around with it a little bit more to see its like full potential. But the basic building blocks are here, and I'm really curious to see more from this game. Absolutely, for sure. What did you think? I certainly like the concept of this, and I think it would apply greatly to even U-boats and maybe naval facilities like different large and small, as well as big and small airfields and different theaters too. It'd be very cool to get some other DLCs to go to other locations like North Africa as the British, or maybe even Italy too. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching and leaving a like. This has certainly got a lot of potential. A long grind, though. As you'd imagine, it's going to take a long time to build a fully functional base and decorate it. And I do plan on live streaming this one in the future to showcase more of its in-depth features and a lot more of what it has to offer. If you've ever seen a playthrough of, well, RimWorld or Prison Architect before, you know it takes a little bit to play those games, and I feel like this one will be a lot of the same, especially later on. Alright, well, thanks again for dropping by. Again, don't forget to subscribe, say hello down below in that comment section, and let me know what you're thinking, what you're doing, and what you are wanting to see in Ground of Aces in the future, and if you'll be downloading the demo, or if you've played it and tried it, what do you think? I want to know. Alright, I'll see you all next time. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.